So, Gloucester Cathedral, welcome. Another magnificent medieval structure here. And we're going to have a look around. Going to have a look at some of the stained glass windows, which look very impressive. And I'll take a few pictures on my way. Apparently some bits of this cathedral are used in the filming of Harry Potter. So have a look out for those. Yeah, very impressive. So this is like a little courtyard, a little piazza, and a little fountain. So very, very nice. The cathedral is absolutely magnificent. Doing a bit of work on it at the moment, a bit of scaffolding. That's one of the tower. So now I guess to try and find a little bit about the place. So the Garth is a garden at the centre of the cloister. It's a wonderful place to sit outside, reflect and remember. It's also the best place to get a great view of the tower. So this processional cross was made in 1923. Is used regularly for processions during services and was used for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. Okay, so Worcester Cathedral had King John, a very ruthless and unpopular king, and here the remains of Edward II lie. He was an unpopular king who was thought to have been murdered brutally here in 1327. Or maybe not here. Edward's son, Edward III, commissioned this tomb around 1330. It spurred on the rebuilding of the East End in the revolutionary new style, the perpendicular Gothic. Edward's tomb was a truly regal sight in its heyday. So, Norman invasion, 1066, led by William the Conqueror, or William of Normandy. And this is an effigy of the king we never had. Robert of Normandy was William the Conqueror's eldest son, but the rocky relationship he had with his father and brothers meant that he never became king. Robert became Duke of Normandy when William died in 1087. He helped to lead the first crusades which sieged Jerusalem in 1099. In 1106, Robert was captured by his youngest brother, Henry I. He spent the rest of his life in prison, dying in Cardiff Castle in 1134. Robert was buried here at the Abbey, probably in front of the high altar. This effigy was carved from Irish bog oak in around 1240. you see the little stone decorations around these windows. They're called ball flowers and look like 3 leaves in a cluster. Each one takes 3 to 4 hours for a stonemason to carve, and there are about 11,000 on the inside and outside of these windows. That's between 33,000 and 44,000 hours of work. Unbelievable. So, the tribute gallery apparently is up here. So, the abbey was built in phases over about 400 years, from 1089 to the 1480s. During that time, techniques and fashions developed, so the style of the building varies from place to place. From 1089 to the early 1100s, the Normans brought an imposing new style of architecture to England. Their churches were massive, much larger than almost anything seen in New England before. The monumental scale and solidity of Norman architecture was inspired by ancient Rome, so it is sometimes called Romanesque. The Normans built a great stone abbey on a grand scale to replace the previous Anglo-Saxon structures. Perpendicular Gothic from 1330 to the late 1400s. Royal masons from London brought a revolutionary style of architecture to Gloucester in around 1330. The construction of Edward II's tomb spurred on the building of the East End in this new style, transforming the abbey into a resting place fit for a king. Perpendicular Gothic architecture has many straight lines to draw the eye upwards to heaven. It is much lighter and more delicate than the old Norman style. Perpendicular Gothic was a distinctively English style of architecture, and the best place to see it is in the south transept and the choir. The earliest Perpendicular Gothic buildings in London have been lost, and the cathedral is now the earliest surviving example of this style in England. So I go through this narrow passage, sort of halfway up the cathedral in height. Saxon Christus. Oh, but we pop out onto a more expansive landing. At the very top of the window, where you might expect to find representation of God, the Father, there is a replacement, a picture of St. Clement, who was placed there in the 1400s. St. Clement was Pope around the year 100 AD. Is he the only Pope to have escaped the notice of Protestant reformers and survived in an Anglican cathedral's medieval window? And there's a question. Okay, so just leaving Gloucester Cathedral, and just on the way out there's a statue of, I think it's Edward Jenner, and obviously in times of pandemic, a very well-known figure in terms of the contribution to medicine.